لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم آمين. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to Him, and peace and blessings be upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We started with qawlillahi ta'ala. We are still in Tafsir, chapter Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah, we reached verse 155, I think. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Last time, I highlighted part of the most important meanings related to the concept of test and trial, which is al-ibtila, if you remember. And we focused on the min al-tayyib, if you remember. We say part of al-ibtila, because before that we were highlighting the concept of patience. Do you remember? We were talking about sabr. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. And we explained why the sabr, which is patience, came before the salah. And we highlighted the concept of they are tools, if you remember. Then we moved to the idea of al-ibtila, and it is part of sunnah kawniyya, part of the universal law. None of us, we related this, we connected this, if you remember, with the biggest two concepts. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And we highlighted the concept of ibadah, worship, which means full obedience in every single aspect of your life. We connected this with اللهم صل على سيدنا الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم. So the idea that you are in bala, ibtila, which means you continuously you are tested. Continuously. The general big idea, we are in a big test all the time. This test is part of al-ibadah. Okay? Now, as subtitle of this, Allah is telling us and affirming, especially for the believers, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ. Allah mentioning now part, types, categories, details of in what things we will be tested. Last time we finished talking about the concept of لِيَمِيزَ اللَّهُ الْخَبِيثَ min al-tayyib within the whole idea of ibtila. We are in a test continuously, and we connected this with the idea that we are in our existence in phase, what? Do you remember? How many phases of our existence we have? Do you remember? 4. Please, these things you need it always you need it, because it's like, the benchmark that you depend. Our souls were created at a certain time, we don't know when. Phase 1. With أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم قالوا بلى. This is phase 1. Souls are created long time ago, Allah knows. Phase 2, it's ours. From the beginning, where the angel that is asked by Allah to inject, to put the soul in the womb of your mother for yourself, your existence in phase 2, i.e. worldly life, has started. It ends by death. Phase 3 starts by death, and we call it alam al-barzakh, which contains adab al-qabr and na'im al-qabr. Do you remember? It ends by the beginning of the day of judgment. فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُ ثُمَّ نُفِخَ فِيهِ أُخْرَى. It will be blown. Okay? فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ all of us will be resurrected, congregated, ba'ath wa nushur. Then it will be the commencement, the beginning, the starting of the day of judgment for Allah knows of, long time. And it will continue eternally. You need to know that. Phase 1, we have no idea. Phase 3 and 4, we have a big idea. Phase 3, i.e. the barzakh, we have no idea about the time because the nature is different. We could stay there for 10,000 years, but you don't feel in them more than 5 minutes. So it has completely another nature, completely. Now we are in phase 2, world life. Full awareness, we have a law, we have a fitrah, the innate, the inner nature, and we have haram and halal, we have the revelation, and we are under the ibadah and the test. Up to the day or the moment where Allah says, this soul should come to its creator. Finished. Then accountability will start. Okay? Now, by the way, understanding always the big picture will help you always to deal with anything in a better way. Because if you think whatever you are facing is part of nothing or part of a very simple thing, you can't understand the reality of something. Habibati, Habibi. Habibti, معلش, can you go there? معلش, read there. Huh? They keep talking, I will lose my control. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. طيب. Now, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنْفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. We will certainly test you with a touch. لاحظ شيء. Touch. Men, touch of fear and famine and loss of property, life and crops. Give good news to those who patiently endure. Bashir, give good news. And now, one of the amazing things of our test, as we always say, our tests that we create in our worldly life, you have an idea about the contents, you don't know the questions, and you might not be able to give the right answers. True or false? Our normal test, universities, schools, something. Now the beauty of our test with Allah, we have the content, we know the questions, and we know the answers. Just be prepared. Just. The big test. Man Rabbuk? The other one? Rabbi Allah. ما دينك؟ دين الإسلام. ما تقول في هذا الرجل الذي بعث فيكم? What do you say? Who's your Lord? And by the way, some people when they say, come on, you say, yes. When someone receives tens of messages in his life, by the way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, let's say the terminological understanding of revelation has ended by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But do you think Allah does not communicate with us in other ways? Allah sends messages all the time. Send messages, your feelings and incidents. Sometimes, what happens with you, what Allah make it easy in your face, the message comes to you. Your feelings, your dreams, everything, Allah is able to communicate with you in different ways, and you know it and I know it. But the idea, اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. طيب, let me continue. قال فشر السعدي قال فأخبر في هذه الآية أنه سيبتلي عباده بشيء من الخوف من الأعداء. The big, for example, as a Muslim, the general mean you will be tested by a touch of fear. The fact that you are a believer does not mean you will not face difficulties. You need to know that, because some people have a very, very romantic attitude in understanding their relation with Allah. The romantic way? They might think, okay, I love Allah, Allah loves me, I'm doing everything good. طيب, so therefore nothing bad will happen to me. La habibi. You have misunderstood the formula and the equation and the law. The fact that Allah loves you does not mean you will not face difficulties. Please don't misunderstand the law of Allah. You are in a test. The fact that Allah loves you does not mean His law will be changed for you and me. Khalas, this is His will. Allah has not changed His law for anyone. Who's the best of the creation in our aqidah? The best. Who's the best person in our faith? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب. Tell me where Allah protected Muhammad from the definite application of His law. Did he face the death of his beloved ones? Just name it. Just name it. Khadija, Hamza, Ruqayya, Zainab, Kulthum, Al-Qasim, Abdullah, Ibrahim. هذول direct. Wives will, sons and daughters. Direct. Will beloved ones. Just name. Just try to him. إنك ميت وإنهم ميتون إن العين لا تدمع وإن القلب لا يحزن وإن على فراقك يا إبراهيم لمحزونون لكن لا نقول إلا ما يرضي ربنا إن لله وإنا إليه راجعون. So please don't misunderstand the law of Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking that you will face some fear. This fear, it's a test. طيب what is, okay, wait. This test is sent to you. لاحظ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِالْخَوْفِ. He said what? وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِالشَّيْءٍ. So He will be sending to us doses. A dose, by the way, and the dose is designed according to your ability. Allah knows. If you decided to be the big champion of the country with bodybuilding, don't wait from the community to ask you to have, for example, the weight that will be asked to lift is 10 kilograms. No, you will be tested with 150. Because this is how your muscles. You want to be the best. Yalla, تفضل. Your test 150, 180, I'm talking kilogram. Okay? يلا تفضل. Because you are the strongest. تفضل. Your test will be equal to your. That's why the level. So you need to understand these things. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says بشيء من الخوف. The Mufassir al-Sa'di is talking about al-a'da, your enemies. It's one of the parts. In our time now, you can be scared by many things. You are threatened by this time, for example, by being fired from your job because you are saying the truth. Is it possible? Is this part of fear or not? To lose your job? Yes. Say such and such. Sign. Fire this person. Be against him. Write. Now, for example, in the media. How many times you might be attacked because you are a good, nice person? They will attack you, the assassination of your character. For how many people does it happen? Khawf. Yes, it's part of the khawf. Now, قال والجوع, you know, the famine or the hunger. قال أو بشيء يسير منهما لأنه لو ابتلاهم بالخوف كله أو الجوع كله لهلكوا والمحن تمحص لا تهلك. And he's mentioning that Allah will be sending certain level doses just to tamhis, because last time we mentioned the tamhis, to distinguish. And you remember, very important, to be distinguished for ourselves or to be distinguished for Allah. ليميز الله الخبيث من الطيب. Allah is testing, as exposing us for this test, big trials, for the case to be distinguished. لنتمايز. When we are distinguished, is this a need for Allah or a need for us? It's a need for us for main two reasons. Reason number one, it's a hujjah against myself. Do you remember? An argument. If Allah knows that I will be a bad guy and I deserve Jahannam, and He created me and directly threw me into Jahannam, what I would say before being thrown to Jahannam? What I would say? Allah, where is justice? How come you create me directly to the hellfire. I've done nothing. If he told me, I know that you will do, Ya Allah, I want justice. تفضل يا سيدي. تفضل. يلا just take your chance. Prove it. Prove it to yourself. You got my point? This is number one. Number two, one of the great reasons for tamyiz, the yamiz, to be distinguished, for the people to witness. Because if haqqa and batil are not distinguished in certain ups and downs, how come the simple, humble people will be able to know and to realize? Not everyone is clever. Not everyone has the ability of Abu Bakr. Not everyone has the ability of Umar al-Khattab. We have generally what we call them the lay people, awam al-nas. Okay, Allah is making for the everyone. Faddal. This is, haqq and this is batil. Clear? Allah has distinguished them. Faddal. Now, next step, and by the way, I think we are living now in the greatest time of distinguishing haqq from the batil. Now many things are so clear. Political level, social level, haram halal level, everything is clear now. Now the test is your decision. Take a decision whom flag you are holding and with whom you have decided to follow. This is our test now. Am I exaggerating? You can see clearly who's supporting the haqq and who's supporting the batil. Clearly, it's just your decision. قال ونقسم من الأموال, which is the loss of, the property and the money. قال المفسر says هذا يشمل جميع النقص المعتري للأموال من. He says this naqs, this loss of amwal covers all possible types of loss. قال for any kind of properties from جوائح سماوية غرق ضياع وأخذ الظلم للأموال من الملوك الظلمة وقطاع الطريق وغير ذلك. He's telling you the loss, it has many possibilities. And please keep this in your mind because I need to fix a possible misunderstanding now, later, after I highlight this. I say this loss of your properties covers the possible قال جوائح سماوية, which means a disaster that is sent from heavens, which means that man-made, it is not a man-made thing. It has nothing to do with a theft or a human being. Like for example, storm, volcanoes, earthquake. It's something completely beyond the control of human being. You have a big bazaar, you have a big company, you have a big factory. Earthquake, everything is lost. A war between two countries, you are not part of it, you have nothing to do. Someone came and boom, 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 everything, and you lost everything. Is it possible? You're completely out of your control. قال وغرق, شو الغرق بالإنجليزي؟ Drowning. Okay, yes, drowning. قال وضياع, when you lose something, your money. وأخذ الظلم للأموال من الملوك. Sometimes, when you have the ظلمة, the transgressors, the aggressors, who might take your money, seize your money by power without any legal right. It happens in many Muslim and Arab countries. All of these things could happen. قال والأنفس أي ذهاب الأحباب, part of the test when we losing الأنفس, the self, the souls. قال ذهاب الأحباب من الأولاد والأقارب والأصحاب ومن أنواع الأمراض في بدن العبد أو بدن من يحبه. Part of the tests that you will be suffering from the loss of the beloved ones, such as your sons, your kins, your relatives, your colleagues, your friends. والأصحاب ومن أنواع الأمراض, and the diseases, sickness in the body or in the body of whom you love. All of these things is part of the test that Allah is talking about, that at any moment you might be facing and you might not. But be ready that these are from the categories that Allah is testing. قال والثمرات أي الحبوب وثمار النخيل والأشجار these things might be affected. قال ببرد أو برد أو حرق أو آفة سماوية من جراد ونحوه. all kinds of, plantations, fruits, vegetables, big trees, dates, whatever. They are properties, part of the money. Sometimes some farms bring, billions for the people. Now, locusts, اللي هو الجراد locusts, صح? Sometimes the locust comes, finishes everything in minutes and hours. Everything. You lose everything in your farm, for example. خلاص. Or by a thunder or a storm or a lightning, it causes a fire and you lose everything. Could it happen? Yes. Wow. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. قال, now he continues. قال فإذا وقعت انقسم الناس إلى قسمين. If one of these categories, أنفس, ثمرات, أموال, all of these things, which is part of the test, happened at any moment, Sheikh Saadi says people will be divided into two main categories. قال جازعين وصابرين. We have the terminology of jazi' and sabir. Sabir, is the patient, the one who's holding the patience that we knew about. طب الجازع, it is the one who did not have patience and refused to be patient. الجزع, الجازع, who was not training himself to be patient now, and he refused. This will lead him to what we call in the Islamic terminology التسخط على أقدار الله. Sakht, to have this kind of anger and refusal against God's decision. قال ينقسم الناس إلى جازعين وصابرين. قال الجازع, which is the one that he refused to be patient. قال حصلت له مصيبتان. He has already achieved two disasters by being جازع. قال فوات المحبوب وهو وجود المصيبة, which is he's the first disaster, the tests and the loss that he has already faced, which is, for example, the loss of his son, for example, or he has lost his factory, his money, his beloved, his status, his job. This is first disaster. قال وفوات ما هو أعظم منها وهو الأجر بامتثال أمر الله بالصبر. He has lost already the thing that he's suffering from, and he has lost the reward which was supposed to come to him by the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So two disasters he's facing. قال ففاز بالخسارة والحرمان. He has won the loss and being deprived from all types of ajr. قال ونقص ما معه من الإيمان. His level of iman has decreased because he was not patient and he refused. So this will put him in a lowest degree of what he used to be. قال وفاته الصبر والرضا والشكران. He has lost the golden opportunity of patience, satisfaction, acceptance, gratefulness, thankfulness. He has lost. It's like an opportunity. Look how the equation. Allah sends the tests depending. Let's use now the شو اسمه الخوارزميات بالانجليزي algorithm. The algorithm now. Test is sent to you. You have two options: accept, refuse. If you accept, come, by your acceptance, you will be decreased in your iman. You will have more ajr, higher status, biggest, more powerful. Test comes, you refused, you feel bad, less iman, decreased in your level, you have lost the ajr, and you are suffering from the musibah itself. So double shot of losses. So it's either or. This will lead you to more. Another opportunity, another test. You can come back. It's as if you are playing a game, by the way. Options. Yes, no. This takes you. Yes, no. This takes you again. Yes, no. Right, left, black, white, red, yellow, whatever. All the time still you have an options to keep with this thing. قال وأما من وفقه الله للصبر عند وجود المصائب, those who were guided by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when this disaster comes, فحبس نفسه عن التسخط, and he controlled himself. Be careful. حبس نفسه. Look, the self from inside. Now the word حبس, it's like imprison his soul, as if it's a metaphor, as if his soul from inside is rejecting, and he came, just put it in the prison and just close the door. Which as if metaphorically someone is talking with his soul, with his self from inside. He say, hey, know yourself, shut up your mouth, stay silent, accept the decision. Exactly. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. It's like, yeah, especially this is a very good example in the Arab world, not here. Here the youth will not understand it. Because if you want to make a joke against Justin Trudeau, who cares? Can you make jokes about Justin Trudeau, by the way? Can you? Yes, definitely. Can Americans make jokes against Biden or Trump? Actually, 90% of the stand-up comedians, they make jokes. Well, all the time. Like in the Arab world, the story is completely different. Imagine a child of 12 years, very happy, wants to make a joke against the boss or the president or the king in his country. And he came, he said, once the father understands that the son has started to say the joke, خش ينيلك ولا خش اسكت. الحيطان لها ايه؟ ودان. You see? Shh, don't speak. Something. Okay. Why you did not give him the freedom to continue saying the joke? Why? But by the way, maybe the sense of humor is really, really very nice with your son. Maybe the joke is very funny. Yet you did what? You shut up him. Shh, don't speak. Why? You are calculating the possible what? Consequences. Subhanallah, do we do it or not? Do we do it or not? Seriously. Yes, shh, don't do it. Why? You are doing it controlling what could be. And by the way, if you don't have the fear, the joke is very funny. And you know, we can make many jokes about alhamdulillah, mashallah. Yeah, I mean, I think, by the way, the people here, if they knew our leaders, basically what they have, they will envy us, wallahi. Because they don't have what we have. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Yes. But they don't know. They don't know. But the idea, I mean, yes, this is a simple example. Many of us, we go, shh, don't speak. Why did you do that? Why did you control him? Why did you stop him? Why? Simply you are making a common sense decision. This will bring troubles to me. Therefore, the bab that the rih comes from, سدوا استريح. You know this مثل? مش English هذا? You know, there is an Arabic, proverb says, الباب اللي بيجيك منه الريح سده واستريح. It's a metaphor, which means, if you are suffering from one of the doors of your house, that the wind keep leaking and, annoying you. يا عمي close the door. خلصنا. Close the door, خلصنا. خلص. Close the file. Finish it. Do we do this in our life or not? طيب. Why? I told you once and I repeat it because alhamdulillah, mashallah, we have 90% of you youth. Even those who are above 50, they are youth, alhamdulillah. According to Dr. Tariq Swedam, youth, they are from 15 to 95. So, mashallah, alhamdulillah, we are all youth, alhamdulillah, okay? If you remember now, unfortunately, wallah, I feel sorry to say it. There is a horrible phenomena that I witnessed in 5 Arab countries, which is committing blasphemy. اللي هو شتم الذات الإلهية، سبة الرب يعني. When they say such and such, ربك دينك, This happens in Jordan, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. To the best of my knowledge, these 5 countries widely spread among the youth in the streets. They used to do it 30, 40 years ago when they are angry, when they are fighting, for example, to show that he is a man. Rabb Deen. They updated this to the latest version now. Why they are joking, making fun? بسب الرب. I don't understand, but they do it. Because making fun. ولك سمعت وقت تعال اقول لك اسمع كذا رب كذا دين ولك ما they are chatting. They do it. طبعا committing blasphemy, basically, if you understand what you are saying, may Allah protect all of you from this. This is called committing kufr. This entitles the person who has done it to leave completely the fold of Islam, to be a non-Muslim murtad. Practically this means if he is married, he's not divorced. He has faced what we call fusikha aqdu zawaj, the contract of marriage, as if it does not exist from the very beginning. By uttering this word, his wife will be a foreigner. He has no right to touch her. If he slept with his wife, he's committing zina. She's committing zina, and their offspring they are illegitimate, ulad haram. If he passed away, he should not be having the ghusl and the takfeen and the burying in a Muslim cemetery. And if he passed away after committing this, he should not be inherited, or if someone from his relatives passed away, he can't inherit. لا يرث ولا يورث ولا يغسل ولا يكفن ولا يصلى عليه ولا يدفن في مقابر المسلمين وينفسخ عقد زواجه. Can you imagine if you are saying كذا كذا رب ودين? If he understands, okay, they are aware of what they are doing. طيب. My point is not this. When I used to speak with the students of the university, يا عمي مشان Allah, when you feel, why you keep saying, they always used to say, Sheikh, Doctor, wallahi I was angry, I did not mean it. Always, this is always the answer. I did not mean it, I was angry. I said, do you allow me to prove to you that you are lying? Said, okay. I said, do you mean by I was angry, you were not controlling yourself? He said, yes. Do you mean by not controlling, you were not aware what you were saying? They say, yes. Okay, let's test this claim. This is science, academic approach now. I'm claiming I was angry. Okay, what does it mean? Give me a definition. I was not aware. What does it mean? When I said it, really I was not aware. طيب. I asked the question. I said, please, do you mind? I did it. I did it literally. What I'm telling you, I did it tens of times, literally, in my classes. Because I taught for about 17 years in the university. Thousands of students. So I used to ask this question. Once I asked someone, I say, I'm sorry, but tell me, how many times you repeat this a month? One of them, he said 40 times, 70 times a month. بكفر 60 70 80 مرة. Some of them, they did it in a day. Said, okay, let's test this claim academically, scientifically. You are claiming that when you say this kufr or takfir or committing blasphemy, you don't mean it. You were so angry, unaware, you did not mean it. Okay. The one who was not aware and his conscience was not there, mathematically, logically, should be doing anything because simply he was not aware. I said, okay, when you say this, how many times randomly you say a bad word against the government? Say 0. Okay, how many times you did it against the king? 0. Against the mukhabarat? 0. Against the honor of your family. كم مرة سبيت عشرة في عيلتك? 0. How many times when someone makes you angry, you attack the honor of his family? You know, when you attack the honor of the family, in our context, it's a big crime, could lead you losing your life. But how many times? 0. But you are claiming that you were not aware what you are saying. If you are not aware, randomly, it should go against Allah twice out of 10. Randomly, once out of 10, you did it against the government. Randomly, once out of 10 against the king. Randomly, 1 out of 10 against your tribe. Randomly against your family. And it must aware. But why it's the case that 100% of you, when you want to say a bad word, you say just against Allah? I say, do you know why? They stop saying. Stop talking. I said, I will tell you why. قال لأنك جعلت الله أهون الناظرين إليك. Do you know what this means? Because you gave the lowest value for Allah compared with the mukhabarat and the government and the tribe. Allah has the lowest value. Simply you don't care about Him. This is reality. This is the reality. Wallahi, not even one person dared to say, no, I can't. No, because this is the reality. You see, I mean, you know why I'm quoting this incident now? I'm talking about what? Sabr. Tasakhut. I'm talking about sabr. I said, because someone might say, yeah, how can I control myself? I'm giving you simple examples in worldly life, according to the values of our money, our prestige, our social status, our security problem. We do force ourselves not to say things, not to do certain things, because we are afraid of security forces, the government, the regime, the tribe, the people, whatever. All of us, including myself, we do this. This means we are not saying whatever we want, whenever we want, and we are not doing whatever we do, we like, just, okay, as we wish. Here in Canada, how many things some of us might be doing at home, they will not do it outside. Let's be honest. For example, part of your culture might be speaking in a very loud voice with your kids. This is your culture. Do you dare to do it outside? Frankly, tell me, do we dare to do it outside? Because any Canadian will call who? Child care. I'm witnessing a very violent father. I'm so sorry for this kid. I'm about to cry. Please come very soon and save this kid from this satanic father. This will happen. 5 minutes. And may God be with your soul. You will suffer in the government for about 6-7 years. Most likely you will lose your son. Therefore, maybe your son is provoking you and speaking with you. Habibi, what is صوتك? You don't, from inside, maybe you want to do many things, but you don't dare. Why? Because you are calculating the possible consequences. This is a reality. Wallahi, I'm saying. That's why I'm just bringing very, very, really practical examples we use. Why not to use it with Allah? This is my question. My point is just so that not to let my talk be very theoretical or philosophical. This is what we do in our normal daily. Allah يجزيك الخير. يسلم ويديك. شكرا جزيلا. الله يجزيك الخير. ما شاء الله. هاي نمط السعودية أبو بلال. هو أطيب شيء على فكرة، خفيفة جدا لأنها جدا خفيفة. الله يجزيكم الخير. الله يجزيكم الخير. وصحتين على قلبكم كلياتكم. أنا بشرب وإن شاء الله يا رب ربنا يعطيكم الصحة والعافية. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Now, brother and sister, I mean, is it clear what I'm trying to do? Are you aware of what I'm trying just to prove? My idea is, because someone might be asking, Ya Ammi, how can I have patience against the qada of Allah? This is the question. This is my question. I'm asking, how can you control yourself in tens of things? How? Simply, you decide to give a big value. You force yourself because you are calculating the consequences. You are afraid to be kicked out of this country, so therefore you will not speak in certain things in public because you are afraid this goes against the law. Very simple equation. Very simple equation. You would like to do in your free time many things, but you don't dare to do it because it's against the law. As I can control myself not to do something against the law because I'm afraid of the consequences, the same thing, Allah has His own law. He commanded me to say things, to do things, to act in according things, to react upon some certain things when He takes a will against my will. Allah's will is against my will. Like the law of the land is against my will. It happens and I accept it. Not necessarily satisfied with it, but I apply. Like the example that I always use, the speed for the youth. You know, on the highway, the maximum is 100 most of the time. 100. Look to the youth now, they are smiling, especially if they have a nice car, nice new car. What if it's a Ferrari? Oosh. 100. You know 100, it's as if you are crawling. يعني 100. But you don't dare. Because insurance, your father, the company, CCTV cameras, all of these things against you. حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. And by the way, someone say, I don't care. Okay, you will pay the price. You might lose your life, or your car, or the insurance. And your life will be hell. في consequences يعني. مش شطارة no, I don't care. لا حبيبي. If you don't care, a disaster will happen. This is what happens in reality. This is how we deal. قال حصلت له المصيبتان فوات المحبوب قال وفوات ما هو أعظم منها قال وأما من وفقه الله للصبر, those who were guided by Allah for patience, which is قال فحبس, I was explaining this, حبس نفسه عن التسخط. This is the core that I was explaining. Now when the qada, you know, the termination, the decision of Allah has been taken and it was fulfilled, I need to control myself against tasakhut. What is tasakhut? As we said, because قال الكره والغضب وعدم الرضا. When I feel angry, I hate this and I'm not satisfied. And I might show this. If you remember the example that I gave to you, when that woman, through one of my students, when she lost her child, she was young, now she was screaming, أيهما عند أمي اسمعي. She was saying, this God does not have a mother to feel with me. She was committing kufr, if she aware. طيب. قال وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Now I will leave this maybe for next time, but just I need to highlight the following possible, I want to fix the possible misconception. Since I started about, let's say 40 or 45 minutes ago, I was talking about Allah decides to let something happens for you, and we gave examples, Afat Samawiyya, like the thunder, the storm, the earthquake, or the loss, or the zalimeen, or whatever. طيب. Some people might misunderstand this law and they don't hold responsibilities to what we call something that we control and has to do with ahkam al-halal and haram. Don't mix the two files together. يعني. The misunderstanding could come the following. La samahallah, God forbid. Now, this is my son. Do I have responsibilities toward him? Yes, I need to take care. He needs my passion, my love, my sympathy, my empathy, care, money, food, good, nice environment, family dealing, including the school and the masjid. It's my responsibility to bring him to the masjid. It's my responsibility to take him to the good school. It's my responsibility to help him how to choose good, nice friends. Now, scenario number one. La subhanallah, God forbid. I decided simply to give up, to stop doing my responsibility. I don't care. Allah sent me many reminders. I saw a movie film, I read an article, I read a novel. All of them, be careful, be careful. I heard the khutbah al-Jum'ah, be careful, your sons, your daughters, your sons, your daughter. قُوا أنفسكم أهليكم. I don't care, 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 I don't care. La subhanallah, God forbid, my son started to be a criminal. For example, la subhanallah, drug dealer. Okay. Low battery قديش يعني. Okay. La samahallah, start to be a criminal, doing something bad. It's completely against the common Islamic sense to say, Sheikh, this is the qadr of Allah. There's nothing to do. It's Allah's decision. La, 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 habibi, be careful. You are mixing two files. This is part of my responsibility. And you are in charge. You are accountable. You are a sinful person. You have to fix. Aslan, you should not have done it from the very beginning. But imagine you were not aware. You know that's part of your responsibility. You have no right to say, because this is a fixable thing and part of responsibility and part of the duty and part of your job. Now you need to do your best to fix and to do it and all of these things. You should not say, it's not like, for example, now losing your son because he started being a bad and a criminal. Is it a musibah, disaster or not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أصابتكم مصيبة, which is musibah from Allah. No. We are discussing when the disaster comes by a pure, direct will and you have no space to interfere. Be careful. No space, no room for you. It's completely out of your control. Now, someone passed away. Someone I love passed away. I have no decision in that. But my kids, they are making noise for my neighbors. It's haram. Wallahi la yu'min, wallahi la yu'min, wallahi la yu'min. By Allah, he is not a believer. By Allah, he has not reached, the true level of a believer. Man ya Rasulullah? Who is ya Rasulullah? Man la ya'manu jaruhu bawa'iqahu. The one whose his neighbors are not protected from his evil acts, he is not a believer. Hadith Bukhari, sahih. But my kids are jumping. I'm living, let's say, in a condo or in a, all the time, boom, 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 boom. الزلمة يحكي معي. You know الزلمة يحكي معي? You know what does it mean? I don't care. And I'm ready to cause disaster for anyone. يعني as our Syrian brothers, they have a nice expression. بقول لك الدرسانة بالبقلة. You know الدرسان. مين بيقدر يترجم لي إياها؟ مين بيقدر يترجم لي الدرسانة بالبقلة؟ مين؟ السوريين والاخوه السوريين اللي عندهم على الاقل 15 سنه انجليزي، تفضلوا. درساني بالبقله. You can't. This is connotation with annotation with context. It's untranslatable. Okay. I mean his attitude. And by the way, even Arabs, they don't understand it. I know. Egyptians, they don't understand what that mean. Okay. You need ترجمة بالعربي. الدرساني بالبقله. Which means, when you have a very, very spoiled son or daughter and you feel that he deserves everything good and nice, as if she is the lady, she's the queen or he's the king, and no one else deserves this kind of treatment. When he does something bad, he say, it's nice for him, it's nice. It's okay for him. Out of the love which will lead him to kill himself. اللي هو الدلال والدلع اللي نسويه. يعني انه يا عمي هذا الضرسان يعني نوع من المدح ده بالبقلة. يعني إلها it's okay. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. What I was saying.
Pure will.
Really, والله I forgot.
These masa'ib that are being talked about.
Okay. جزاك الله خير. Yes. For example, I was giving an example. Don't mix between the things that you are able to control, you are able to plant the seeds of how they should be done, and it's part of ahkam al-shar'iyya. Wajib, haram, halal. It's a duty upon my shoulder to raise up my kids on the right good conduct and behavior and etc. When I leave them doing the bad thing and they cause the harm, it's not part of the qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that's it. No. It is in the general meaning, but it's the part that I'm in charge, I'm responsible, I'm sinful, I'm accountable. So what we are talking about patience, don't mix it with this. No, there, number one, talk about responsibility now and the accountability and have the fear and go and fix. Ask Allah to give you patience while fixing the problem that I am in charge or you are in charge. This is the possible misunderstanding of the whole idea of the disaster and the sabr and qada. By this we have covered the whole idea of وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Next time we will highlight what's the concept of إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون and the next ayah. جزاكم الله خير. See you next week. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير أبو بلال على